So we're continuing our Meet the Candidate interviews, and today we have Jim Thomas, who is the incumbent in the 49th District for the State House, Ohio.
Good morning.
Good
or
morning.
Good afternoon, almost.
Afternoon.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, we're glad
Pleasure
you're
to be
here. Nice to be able to have a face-to-face chat with you.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about the time you've spent at the State House so far. What's it been like for you?
It's been fun. It's challenging. It's humbling sometimes, and but most of all, I'm proud to have the opportunity to represent, the people of the 49th District. Sometimes I have to pinch myself when I'm there just to see if it's real. But there's a lot of challenges and a lot of opportunities, and I really appreciate the opportunity to serve in this capacity.
Are there priorities that you feel you like to work on if you get another term?
Yes, and they're pretty much the same from the last term. Economic development, workforce development, education, and if government's going to spend money, making sure that the district gets our fair share. So those are the four.
And as far as your district goes, 49th District consists of what?
It's the entire city of Canton, a little bit of Plain Township, and almost all of Jackson Township, but not quite the southern tip.
So when you go to Columbus and you're looking at all the things that are happening, and there's so much happening in Columbus all the time. How do you come back to the district and say, this is what's happening and this is how it's going to help you?
That it is kind of a challenge to get the word out, but thankfully there are media sources who help with that. Just a couple of the highlights would be, in terms of economic development. Sorry, I'm just looking at my notes real quick.
Sure.
I guess what I would say is, there's partnerships with the Stark Economic Development Group, but the big one that recently happened was Metallus, formerly Timken Steel. They recently got a $100 million contract with the Department of Defense to continue to build munitions, and on top of that, the state of Ohio, the Jobs Ohio, they gave them a $3.5 million grant to help improve efficiency and safety there. So that was a big win. In addition, Howmet Aerospace, which is a company I was not familiar with, they were formerly part of Alcoa. I think the city of Canton recently made a tax agreement with them, as they're going to be expanding their operations here in Canton. They make titanium products, and my understanding is the U.S. imports a lot of titanium products from Russia. And with the current state of affairs, the U.S. does not want to be importing things from Russia. So my understanding is that's been good for Howmet, and they're really expanding. So those are two of the big wins that are happening here in the city.
And maybe there are some folks out there that are meeting you for the first time through
Sure.
this. Tell us a little bit about your background.
Sure. Thank you for that question. I'm going to start with my dad. So my dad was born and raised in the Northeast End, and he attended Canton St. Paul's School. He's about 92 or 93, so he's been in the area and his family for 92 years, 93 years. So I was born and raised in Plain Township. I went to St. Michael's School in Central Catholic. I had the opportunity to get a tennis scholarship to Stanford University, and there I earned a degree in American history and political science, also known as American Studies. And while I was there, I was a member of two NCAA championship tennis teams, so that was very exciting for me. And then after I graduated, I had the chance to play professional tennis for 12 years, and I had the chance to be on one of Larry Hackenberg's shows, so that was very nice. So 12 years on the tennis tour, played in about 50 countries, and I was much better in doubles. My movement was not my strength, so covering half the court was much better for me. So I was ranked number 3 in the nation in doubles. I'm sorry, number 3 in the nation and number 29 in the world. So those were my that was that career. And then once the young people were beating me too much, it was time to move on, and I stopped and went to law school at Case Western Reserve, and then I came back here and practiced law for a little bit. I was a trustee in Jackson Township for 3 years, and then I've been in this position for a year and a half.
Yeah, and when did you think in your mind that, okay, I'm going to get into the political arena after playing tennis for so long?
Yeah, it kind of happened gradually. I had a wonderful teacher at Central Catholic. Her name was Mrs. Lenz. She taught American national government. That was starting to get me excited about it. And while I was at Stanford, I was moving in that direction. I thought that might, thought I might want to do that. And then at some point, I realized that there was a lot of poverty and a lot of challenges in the city of Canton that I didn't see when I was growing up because to be quite honest, I didn't live in that area. So, there's a lot of challenges here, and I wanted to try and help. I wanted to try and help here. So, and I would say when I was traveling around the world, that gave me an opportunity to see that a lot of people want the same things no matter where they are. They want their government to do a good job. They want their families to have opportunities. They want a good job, and just everything. There's a lot of similarities no matter where you are, and I think that helped me to. It was a wonderful development experience.
Yeah. What would you say is the most important thing you can do for the constituents in the 49th district?
I've heard Mayor Scheer say this, and I guess I'll copy him. When people have a good paying job, a lot of other things seem to fade away into the background. So, like I mentioned before, economic development, workforce development, trying to get people into quote unquote in-demand jobs. We're very fortunate to have a couple of institutions in town that help a lot with that. We've got Stark State and R.G. Drake, and they both got a lot of funding in our last budget. So that's exciting for our community. And then education. I've been blessed to have wonderful education, and I want everybody in this area to have to have a chance for great education and to have wonderful mentors and to try and do follow their dreams like I've been able to, and achieve the best they can for themselves.
So for everyone who's listening and or watching this video, what one thing would you say to them why they should vote for you?
Well, I would say no one's going to work harder for you. For the last X number of years, I've been building relationships. While I was a trustee in Jackson Township, I had 3 years to build relationships there. We've got a wonderful administrator in Mike Vaccaro. We've got great trustees now, Todd Hawk and John Pizzino and Justin Hardesty do a great job. Chief Brink and Chief Berzik do a great job. And that's all Jackson. And then for the last year and a half, I've had a chance to build relationships in the city of Canton. Chief Gabbard does a very nice job, and Chief Bennett, they do a very nice job, and the mayor, I think, is doing a good job. So I've been building these relationships here, but also have to build them in Columbus. One person cannot do anything, right? You're in the legislature, you got one vote. So you've got to build relationships. And I think that kind of hit home pretty quickly, because you need to build relationships there, and there's 99 members in the House, so you gotta build relationships, and it takes time. And if you're able to get something out of the House, well, then you got to go through the Senate. So you better have some relationships there. And thankfully, I've had some really good mentors, Senator Schuring and Representative Olslager. They've been terrific, and Janet Creighton's been great. So I've had some really good mentors, and they're helping me along.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck, sir.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks for your time.